All right, we're recording now. Outstanding. So, welcome to the first transition from JROTC to ROTC, Senior ROTC, College Level ROTC podcast brief description for both Southeastern and Southern University, also the National Guard, Louisiana Army National Guard, and the Southern and Jaguar Battalion ROTC program. Real quick disclaimer before we get started. Each organization that is represented here today is speaking on their own behalf. However, some of the benefits may cross over, and you may be able to use certain benefits at some of the locations. Does not mean that that location or that school is the one that has to honor that benefit. With Ms. Webb at Southern University.
All right, greetings everyone. My name is Laisha Webb. I'm the program coordinator here at Southern University within the Office of Admissions and Recruitment. I've been here going on maybe 3.5 years. I'm also the tour coordinator, and I'm also the Jaguar Ambassadors Advisor.
Ms. Webb, what is the Jaguar Ambassador?
So the Jaguar Ambassador is a student organization here on campus. They are the ones who really conduct the tours for us, and they also go with us to various high schools within the state and just talk and let the students know how it is being a student on campus, trying to balance academic and extracurricular activities, things like that.
Oh, that's awesome. So it's like a mentoring program almost.
Yeah, like maybe a student recruiter, something like that type person.
Okay, well, thank you. Outstanding. All right, Miss. Next will be at Southeastern Louisiana, Miss Kinchin.
All right, hi guys, I'm Christy Kinchin. So I'm an admissions recruiter here at Southeastern. So it's my job to help students as they go through the application process, being the person they can reach out to when they have questions. I'm basically just the point of contact for students and their families. Be a familiar face and voice, help them get enrolled, make sure they're meeting all of their deadlines, and just letting them know all the great things that Southeastern has to offer. So I'm originally from Louisiana, around the Hammond area, but I've lived out of state the last 18 years, moved back a few months ago, started my role as an admissions recruiter, and actually started my college journey at Southeastern. So it's nice to be back where it all started.
Outstanding. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Next, we're going to have Mr. Johnson, the recruiting operating officer for both Southeastern and Southern University.
Go Jags. Good evening, everyone. My name, as he said, is Mr. Johnson. I'm the recruiter operations officer at Southern University. I've been here for about 10 years. I'll be the one that cadets and students talk to about scholarships. So any questions you have about anything, I'll be glad to answer it for you. Glad to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. All right, next we're going to have the Assistant Professor of Military Science and
Good morning, everyone. So like Sergeant Gascon said, my name is Captain Shorter. I'm the Assistant Professor of Military Science at Southeastern. So I partner with Southern University, but run the branch of ROTC over here at Southeastern. And so with that, I've also spent the last 7 years in the National Guard in Louisiana. And I'm just kind of the main point of contact that you would work with in the event that you do come to Southeastern. And I'll also talk a little bit today about what it means to be in ROTC while also gaining benefits from the Louisiana National Guard as well.
Thank you, I'm Shorter. All right, now the Louisiana Army National Guard representative, Sergeant First Class Don Morrow.
Hey, I'm Sergeant First Class Dawn Morrow out of Baton Rouge. Go Jags and go Bears. I recruit for Southern University and BRCC. The biggest thing for me, I've been in 21 years. I've served on active duty, came off active duty, served some time in the New Mexico National Guard, and I'm finishing my time in the Louisiana National Guard. I love New Louisiana, and I love what we stand for in the National Guard as far as helping, with hurricanes and stuff like that.
Saying thank you guys for agreeing to be on this webinar that I think is going to be very important with getting all of these organizations, these great organizations out there to these individuals that may have never thought about your particular organization or what's available to them. So without further ado, let's move on. We'll go straight into Mr. Johnson. First question's for you. What is senior ROTC? And also explain the partnership, like Captain Shorter said, that Southeastern has with Southern University.
Okay, well, senior ROTC is the Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps. And the partnership that we have with Southeastern is that the students at Southeastern can cross-enroll in order to participate in the ROTC program here at Southern. The reason why, because Southern University is the host school, but we like to allow students at our partnership school the same opportunities and benefits and scholarships when it comes to the ROTC program.
Okay, so let me, I guess, ask a follow-up question on that. When you say cross-enroll, do you have to go to Southern to take the classes, or?
Well, it depends on the level of education that they're in. The freshmen, sophomores, they'll normally have instructors there. Captain Short is an instructor at Southeastern. We try to keep them there and get the instructions from the instructor at Southeastern. But when they become to the senior levels, like juniors and seniors, we have them like to come to Southern, especially on days when we call lab days, which is when everyone gets together to participate as one group from all the training that they've learned in their classrooms. And we'll put it all together as a unit so they can learn all together. But normally, as a student at Southeastern, if they're in their freshman, sophomore, even junior year, they normally can stay at their university, but their fourth year to senior year, they have to come to the host school to get their final lessons from the professor of military science, which is Colonel Marshall.
Okay, and to follow up with the senior ROTC, what it is, not necessarily just that's Reserve Officer Training Corps.
Well, what they learn at the senior ROTC program, they learn how to become a leader. We teach them how to become a junior officer, a second lieutenant. So they're going to have learn skills of how to manage time, how to counsel personnel. They'll do their basic training stuff as like shoot a weapon, learn how to read a map and road marching. But the main thing they'll be learning is basically how to become a junior officer, how to lead soldiers.
Ad was for Sergeant Morrow. What is the Louisiana National Guard?
Yes, sir. The Louisiana National Guard is like an opportunity. It's one component of the military where you can serve your state and your country at the same time for 1 week in a month. So we're very unique in the way that if we have these kids that want to go to college or something like that, they don't have to move away on active duty or anything like that. They have the opportunity to serve their state for 1 week in a month and 2 weeks in the summertime when they're on break from school. So it gives them the opportunity of being a soldier, but being a student full-time, or being a soldier and then just staying at home in the workforce. So what we kind of do in the National Guard is our bread and butter. We serve for state and federal. So for the state side, we help out with hurricanes. Every year when hurricanes happen and stuff like that, the Louisiana National Guard is what steps up and helps out during those disasters. But for the federal side, we can also take a deployment as well, and we help out when we're called up for things like that as well.
Okay, outstanding. Thank you. All right, Captain Shorter, what is the SMP program?
Yeah, so
What
the
does
the SMP program stands for the Simultaneous Membership Program, and essentially what that does is it allows current National Guard members to join ROTC if they're not currently in the ROTC program, but they are in the Guard. But the other thing it does is it allows students who are not in the National Guard or reserves, but are just at ROTC. Let's say they've contracted with ROTC, which means they've signed up and agreed to do ROTC for the remainder of their college years, but they're not on scholarship. It allows them to either drill with a reserve unit or a National Guard unit and receive that component's benefits to attend school and on top of what they're already receiving as a cadet. And the benefit of it is it also allows them to drill with the unit and gain a little bit more leadership experience outside of what they're getting in our ROTC on the day-to-day.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So now we're going to move on to Miss Webb. What are the admission requirements to attend Southern University of Baton Rouge?
Okay, so the admission requirement, it's twofold. We have the completion of the high school board of regents core curriculum for in-state students, meaning that you have to have taken 19 core credits, meaning you have to take English 1 through 4, have to take 4 math classes, 4 social science, 4 science, 2 foreign language, and an art. And you also have to have at least a 2.0 GPA. For out-of-state students, you have to meet those same requirements, but instead of 19, you have to have 17 core hours with the 2.0 GPA. Right now, we're test optional, meaning you do not have to have ACT or SAT scores to get admitted, as long as you meet the requirements that I just stated. We're still actually waiting on the Board of Regents to update us on if we're gonna start accepting ACT or SAT scores. But for the moment, as long as you're meeting those core requirements and you have a 2.0, you can get admitted into Southern University.
Awesome. Okay, that's a great great rundown of that. All right, Ms. Kinchin, what same question for you. What are the admission requirements for Southeastern?
All right, so at Southeastern, we actually look at the individual, taking into account their high school GPA, their coursework, and their test scores. But our requirement for admissions are 4 things for our beginning freshmen. You need a 2.35 cumulative GPA. You need either a 21 composite on your ACT or a 2.0 core GPA, a 19 in math or an 18 in English, and the Yes to Core program. But we say that if you don't meet one of these requirements, we suggest that you apply and get in contact with one of us in admissions, and we'll find a path to get you admitted into Southeastern. So we say just apply and we'll get you there.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you very much for that. All right. Next, this goes back to Ms. Webb. What are some degrees that Southern offers that you feel is unique to Southern or that you would like to discuss?
So of course we have over 60 academic programs here on campus, but some of the major programs that a lot of kids come and major in is 1, engineering. We have nuclear, civil, mechanical, electrical, to name a few. We also have a really big computer science program with at least 4 concentrations, from information studies to mobile and app development to data and analytics and information systems. Our nursing program as well is one of our top programs we have here, where you can get a BSN in nursing. But if you decide you want to come back, you can also get an MSN, a PhD, and you could get a DNP here in the nursing school. And then lastly, one of our another big major that we have is within our agriculture. Our agriculture houses not only animal science, but plant and soil, but we also, on the family and consumer side of it, we also have where you can get majors in culinary, nutrition, early childhood development, textile and apparel merchandise. So those are just a few of our top majors within Southern University.
Awesome. I didn't realize that about the agriculture, so that's pretty cool. It kind of gives you a wide range of the agricultural world there. What about law school? Do y'all have a pretty good law school?
Yes, we do have a really good law school, actually. We don't actually have a pre-law major here, so a lot of times the students like to either take criminal justice, or they even might do political science or even English to help them with preparing them for not only the LSAT, but with English, helping prepare them for all the writing that they might have to do while in law school.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Ms. Webb. Next, same question for you, Ms. Kinchin. What are some of the degrees that Southeastern has that you feel is unique to Southeastern, and also that you would just like to focus on?
All right, yeah, we have a couple that I want to highlight. So we offer over 150 degrees at Southeastern, but some of our top ones are our nursing program. So our students score higher than the national average on their state licensing exams. We also have some state-of-the-art simulation labs, and then most of our students are hired into the local community. We have our business administration as another top degree. So Bob Dugas is one of our alumni, and he's actually the VP of supply chain for Chick-fil-A. So we do have some pretty prominent people that come out of Southeastern that do great things in the business world. And then we have our computer science and IT. They just built a new lab. It's called the iHub, which is the innovation hub. And it's a place where students can use the lab for free, and they can get hands-on experience with everything from broadcasting to virtual reality. I think they have a 3D printing class coming up, and then podcasting as well.
Awesome. Okay. I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Dugas when they did the obstacle course over there at Southeastern. Very nice gentleman. All right. So moving on from there, Ms. Webb, this comes back to you again. What type of campus life or student engagement do you guys have at Southern?
Okay, so we have over 150 student organizations within Southern University's campus. Of course, we have SGA, which is our Student Government Association, as well as we have Greek Life on campus. And then we also just have academic organizations we do have a pre-law society. We have NAACP, of course. I am the advisor over the Jaguar Ambassadors, and just various organizations within your major. So if you want to major in psychology, agriculture, music, computer science, they also have organizations tailored to your major.
Okay. So it's safe to say if someone comes here, they're never going to be not be able to find things to get involved in. Exactly. All right. Next, Ms. Kinchin, same question for you. What type of campus life and also student engagement do you guys have at Southeastern?
So we have over 100 student clubs and organizations. We have leadership development opportunities and over about 350 student events every year. And one cool thing that we like to point out is that you can actually start your own club if there's something that you're interested in that we don't have. You just need 10 students and a staff member to sign on for it. So you can kind of start something and leave your own legacy at Southeastern. But we have our student union breezeway. It's always full of music, tables, events are set up usually throughout the week. And then our homecoming is actually coming up. So 2 big events we have there is our Gumbo Yaya. So over 3,000 students come, they could eat gumbo. We have live entertainment. And then on homecoming day, everyone goes to Friendship Circle, which is a main meeting spot on our campus, and students and visitors can come. There's family friendly tailgating. There's like little parades. So it's just a way to kick off before the big game happens. So there's usually always something to either volunteer for or just to be a guest and just enjoy as a guest.
Awesome. Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Now we're going to move into talking about some incentives for the different organizations that's represented. We're going to start off with Mr. Johnson. If you could go into what type of incentives, both monetary and non-monetary benefits, do you receive for being part of the ROTC program?
Okay, let's start with monetary. Everybody likes money, so we're going to talk about money. Well, in the ROTC program, there's scholarships there for those that qualify. I mean, the Army scholarship, ROTC scholarships receive annual allowances to pay for their books, equipment, supplies, and it's tax-free monthly with a stipend of $420 a month. Now, the scholarship can be $10,000 a year if they're qualified, which is $5,000 per semester. So that's $10,000 a year. The book stipend is a voucher. So it's $600 per semester. So that's $1,200 a year. And then there's the stipend of $420 a month. Now the stipend is only for fall and spring semesters. We don't offer that during the summers. We only cover fall and spring. Now, That's the scholarship that we can offer from ROTC point of view, for our national level or brigade level. Also, for the students that are in what Sergeant Morrow has, the National Guard, they can also continue with their benefits, and I'll let her explain those, but we can also give them scholarships and money as well to go along with the benefits from being in that National Guard. Or as non-monetary, being in ROTC, it's a great leadership development program. It's very educational opportunities, career opportunities, because when you commission, which means once you graduate and you get your degree, we also cater toward your career opportunities, and the pay is not bad either. So there's a lot of good things that come with being in the ROTC program, and it's a great opportunity to start. I mean, you can make a career out of this thing, or you can do it as part-time. But we'd love to have you either way it goes.
Awesome. So, Mr. Johnson, does an individual attending their freshman year, let's say you got someone that's in high school right now and they're like, I would like to take the class, but I don't know if I want that commitment yet. Can they simply just take the class?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. It's a great question. The freshmen and the sophomores, they don't have any obligation for their freshman and sophomore year unless they're on scholarship. They can take the class to see it, participate in it, and see if they like it. So it's a great motivational thing that I use when I go to high schools to let students know, look, you won't know about the program unless you try it out for yourself. It's a great opportunity. Try it out. You just might like it. But like you were asking, there's no obligation as a freshman or sophomore. They can take the class just as, an elective, or just to take the class to see if this is something that they would like to do in the future.
Okay, outstanding. So just a quick recap, you said the incentives to do the ROTC, there's various scholarships available through just the ROTC, or as what Captain Shorter was talking about, the SMP program. And you said it's $5,000 per semester, tax-free, correct?
That is correct.
And $1,200 per year book voucher, and then also a $420 per month ROTC stipend that's paid out fall and spring, right?
Correct.
Outstanding. Okay. And let's say if an individual does not get a scholarship, are there anything else in addition to that they can do?
Well, if an individual say they want to join the military and commission as a second lieutenant, but they don't have a scholarship, we have a program where they can contract, and it's called a non-scholarship program. And what comes with that, being if they're not in the National Guard or Reserve, they'll just receive the stipend, which is $420 a month. If they're in the National Guard or the Reserves, they'll receive their weekly or monthly pay of their drill pay, which is called, for being in the Guard or Reserve. They'll get paid as a sergeant when they're contracted as a non-contracted cadet in ROTC. So they'll get paid as an E5 for their drill pay, plus their stipend of $420 a month.
Okay, outstanding. Well, thank you very much for that information. It's a lot to take in. All right, next, Sergeant First Class Morrow, we'll move on to you. Similar question, what type of incentives, both monetary and non-monetary benefits, do you receive with joining the Louisiana National Guard?
Okay, so the monetary benefits that you receive are one of our best, okay? Because we're 5 states out of the entire United States that pays 100% tuition for anybody that serves their state and country at the same time for the Louisiana National Guard. That means, like, it doesn't matter what school you go to, as long as it's state funded, we'll pay 100% of that tuition. That does not include books and fees. That's where we give additional things like the GI Bill. The GI Bill would be $347 every month you're in college, plus that $220 check you get for just drilling at your unit for 1 week in a month. So that goes alongside that. That's just a basic thing. If someone just comes off the street, wants to join, and those are the benefits that everybody gets. Now, when you score different scores on the ASVAB, then you have opportunities for bonuses and other incentives. And I don't like to really go over them or because they change so often that I'll be quoting something on a video that may be different by the time someone hears this. But the cool part about the National Guard, especially if you're a college student, is that you could do this at the same time of doing ROTC, and then you could bundle up a bunch of these benefits together by having us pay your tuition, get an ROTC scholarship, and then you got extra money on top of all that. Plus going into the non-monetary stuff, which is like really what I really am passionate about. It's the stuff that you gain. It's like the training that you received. You know, we'll send you to school and pay you to get training and go to, you know, let's just say electrician. BRCC, you know, I'll give you an electrician degree and that's awesome, but we also pay you to go learn these trades and different things. We have over 250 kind of jobs that range from military intelligence all the way down to being infantry. So a lot of times they think of Army, they think of, you know, we play in dirt and that's everything we do, but we have all sorts of kind of jobs that we offer. So you get that training experience. You get the resume builder. What's cool about it, besides going to college and getting, you know, your degree in that, we're giving you the opportunity for leadership and everything else. The experience that you get, it just makes kids at a young age. What I like to tell parents, I know kids don't like hearing this, but a lot of kids do receive when you say this stuff to them. But when they're in college, it's very easy to fall into the wrong crowds. It's very easy to fall into partying is okay, you know, but you have to stay drug free. You got to do that kind of stuff, you know. So it's like we're kind of second set of parents, but in a way that we're trying to, you know, move them in the same direction that everybody's trying to move them in at the same time. So they're part of a team that you have to make better choices with it by being part of our organization. Besides that, I mean, you get the experience of helping your state in a natural disaster. Instead of going home and watching it on TV, you're actually putting your, you know, uniform on and you're coming out and you're helping your state at the same time by going to help people out of their homes, working pod sites, handing out food and water. So there's a lot of opportunities, monetary and non-monetary, that you get by joining the National Guard. The coolest part is you get to bundle it up with everything else and still be a student at the same time a soldier.
Awesome. And how much did you say the GI Bill was?
It is $437 right now.
$437. Outstanding. That's pretty good. So they get their tuition waived to any state funded school to include Southeastern and Southern, correct?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay. You said paid. Did they pay it or did they waive it? What's it?
They waive it. So that's
different.
a good question. Sorry, Gascon. Yeah. And so it's tuition exemption, meaning it's completely exempt. Like there's no money crossed. So if for some reason the federal government stops like military money and all that stuff, the movement of money, we never lose our money because there's no money ever crossed. It's protected by a state law from our governor that basically says that if you serve your state and country, he's willing to waive your tuition. So meaning like as long as you enlist before the semester starts, they're going to get with our education people. They're going to see that your name's on the list and they're going to waive your tuition.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you very much. All right, moving on. Now we're going to talk to Captain Shorter, and he's going to explain the basically the crossover between ROTC and the National Guard, the SMP program. So same question to you, Captain Shorter. I'll say it again just so in case anybody missed the question. What type of incentives, both monetary and non-monetary, do you receive for being part of the SMP program?
All right, yeah, so I mean, Mr. Johnson and our First Class Morrow already touched on quite a bit of it, but in addition to whatever benefits you're receiving from ROTC, which is that $420 a month stipend in the event you're not on a scholarship, and it's, as Sergeant Morrow said, your Montgomery GI Bill and your state tuition exemption, which you receive as a guardsman, and then your drill check, of course. Mr. Johnson also covered that the cadets are once contracted in the SMP program where they're drilling with the National Guard and contracted with ROTC, they receive E5 pay at drill. So that's really the big thing, right? Because it allows the student to go ahead, if they weren't a guardsman or reservist already, it allows them to qualify for things like TRICARE, which discounts their dental insurance and health insurance. But it also gives them a paycheck on top of that $420 a month cadet stipend that they're receiving. And then in addition to that, it also allows them to compete for a higher level of the Montgomery GI Bill with a kicker. So, and that kicker is just, it's an additional incentive that piles on top of the Montgomery GI Bill if they're qualified. And all of these things are ways to augment the fact that the cadet isn't on a scholarship through ROTC. And then as well as all of that, there's the non-monetary incentive, right? And that's the part that Sergeant Moore was talking about in regards to service and training. And with cadets, it really is beneficial because you're partnered up with a company level command, and they assign you to their lieutenants and their senior NCOs. And for that duration of the time that you're contracted under the SMP program, whether it's 2 years or whether it's 4 years, depending on where you fall, you're spending that entire time training with sergeant first classes, lieutenants, and captains and first sergeants, and just getting more hands-on experience to make you that much better of a well-rounded leader by the time it comes for you to commission and become a second lieutenant yourself.
Okay, outstanding. So you said if an individual is already drilling with that with the National Guard, they qualify for the Montgomery GI Bill and the kicker. What about an individual? What if an individual is currently in high school or they're currently a freshman in college and they simply want to do contract with the National Guard and ROTC? Do they still qualify for the GI Bill and stuff like that? How do you qualify for the GI Bill and the GI Bill kicker?
So, more, correct me if I'm wrong here, but as I understand it, they do have to complete basic training in AIT in order to qualify for the Montgomery GI Bill.
That is correct, sir. That is correct, sir.
Okay, so
and that's right. I just didn't want to speak out of turn there.
So if an individual has completed basic training in AIT, they get the GI Bill and the GI Bill kicker. But can an individual enlist into the National Guard and not go to basic training and be able to contract with ROTC as well? Does that make sense? What I'm asking?
Right. So you're talking about the 09 Romeo enlistment. Okay. So with that, there is a way to enlist into the National Guard as a either as a true freshman coming into college, or there's also a way to do it where you're a sophomore and you enlist with a National Guard recruiter or a reserve recruiter, and you sign a contract basically saying that you're enlisting, but you're enlisting for the purposes of becoming a cadet. Now, with that, you do qualify once contracted with that ROTC program for those enlistment benefits, same as a regular enlisted soldier who's attended basic and AIT. However, those benefits don't kick in until you are contracted with the ROTC program, and so you only have 1 day from the date, or excuse me, 1 year from the date of your enlistment to contract with ROTC, and that's an important point to remember because again, if you don't meet that 1 year hit time, then by default you will be going to basic training in AIT for the reserve or National Guard component at that point. So I completely forgot about that. So thank you for bringing that up, Sergeant Gascon.
So it's definitely, from my experience, better to wait until they're a sophomore, right? When they're getting ready to contract.
As a general rule, it is because at that point you're eligible to contract with ROTC. You have your 30 credit hours. You've got your good couple of semesters of GPA good standing, which means that your ACT scores are pretty much irrelevant at that point. Because again, once you hit that 2.0 GPA consecutively for a semester, you're in good standing with the ROTC program, you're in good standing with your university, you've met all your parameters. So that means that all you got to do is sign the dotted line with the National Guard or Reserves, and you got to sign with ROTC, and then you're receiving your benefits and you're going to school and you're a cadet like everyone else. And on top of all that, which is something I forgot to mention earlier, you're in a non-deployable status, which is a huge kicker because, you know, now you're ready to just finish school out, focus on ROTC, focus on your degree, finish in a couple of years, and move on with being an officer either in the full-time force or the part-time force, and then move on with your civilian career from there. That's
actually a good point. So if an individual is sitting there in high school and they're like, man, I want to be a commissioned officer, but I would like to go active duty after I get done with my degree. Is there any limitations as far as joining the National Guard and still taking advantage of that?
No, so there's the only limitation really for anybody in regards to competing for active duty through ROTC is if you take a scholarship with either the National Guard or the Reserve component. So both components have these incredible scholarships called CASA and Minuteman scholarships. And with that, essentially they give you all of the benefits that Mr. Johnson talked about with ROTC scholarships. And in addition to that, you drill with a Guard or Reserve component and receive those benefits we were talking about earlier in regards to what you receive as a drilling cadet. But the one caveat being that when you do commission, you have to commission into that component branch. Now, there are a few other scholarships out there that can be offered through the universities that currently serving guardsmen and reservists can apply for. But again, if you're in the Guard and Reserves applying for a scholarship, that means that you're going to commission into the Guard or Reserves when commissioning time comes. So the flip side of that being that if you're just an SMP cadet not receiving a scholarship, you are eligible to compete for active duty just like anybody else who's on a full-time campus-based scholarship that's not in the Guard or Reserves. So you stand the same chances they do.
Awesome. Okay. So last two questions, and then I'll move on to my next topic. I apologize about the delay here, but I think it's important that we get this information out there. You said that an 09 Romeo can enlist, and once they contract, they're eligible then for the benefits that a normal drilling soldier that has completed basic training in AIT that they're eligible for. Is that accurate? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
I'm not entirely certain what you're asking there. No. So in regards to like are you talking like VA home loans specifically,
No,
or were
no.
you asking that?
When you said the educational benefits that the 09 Romeos receive is the same as a soldier that has completed basic training in AIT. Are they eligible for the Montgomery GI Bill and the GI Bill kicker if they're 09 Romeos, straight 09 Romeos without any basic training or anything once they contract an ROTC?
Yes, no, so that would be a different benefit. So that benefit is one they qualify for with basic and AIT, as Sergeant Morrow stated on the earlier. So I apologize for the confusion there. What I was talking about was they're able to apply for TRICARE, they're able to receive the SGLI insurance, and they're also able to get those basic benefits for tuition exemption, and in some cases with the reserve student loan repayment. So. Does that address the question you had, John?
That definitely did. I was just kind of confused with the if they got the Montgomery GI Bill and all that without attending basic training. So you have to complete basic training and AIT, the advanced individual training, in order to qualify for the Montgomery GI Bill and the GI Bill kicker. Correct?
That's correct.
Outstanding. Okay.
That's correct.
Last question, and then I'll move on, is the state tuition exemption. Is that, you said it reserves the National Guard. Sorry, Maura, you might be able to answer this question. Who's eligible for the state tuition exemption?
Okay, there's a lot of confusion on the streets about this, but the Louisiana National Guard is the only branch or only component that can offer 100% tuition exemption. That is a state law that was signed by our governor. So if you're active Army or Army Reserves, they'll give you money up to $4,500 a year to pay towards your college. It's first come, first serve. The cool part about the National Guard, I'm gonna give a shout out to our component again. You can also have that as well. So you just can't put them together. So like if you got somebody who joins the National Guard and they go out of state in one of those other states that doesn't offer tuition exemption, we offer the exact same thing that the Armed Reserves or Active Army does, which is $4,500 a year to go towards the school of their choice. So it's like the National Guard's giving you an opportunity at both. So if you decided, go to school in the state of Louisiana, you're going to get all your tuition paid for. If you go out of state, you got the same benefit any other branch would have, which is $4,500 a year.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you for the clarification. All right. So moving on, Ms. Webb, I know you've been waiting patiently along with Ms. Kinchin. I apologize. So does your school offer any merit or academic-based scholarships? If so, what are they? And what are the qualifications?
Okay, so a couple scholarships that we offer. One, within our office, the Office of Admissions and Recruitment, we actually offer a out-of-state scholarship, meaning that if you have a 2.5 GPA or higher, all your out-of-state fees are going to be waived. So that's one scholarship that we offer within admissions, but we also have our honors college, where as long as you have an ACT score of a 23 or higher with a 3.3 GPA, you can receive a scholarship. We have, for Louisiana students, we have TOPS, as long as they complete the minimum TOPS core requirement for Louisiana students, which is a 19 of a minimum of a 2.5 GPA. They can receive, and be a Louisiana resident, they can receive the top scholarship. We have the 1890 JAG Star Scholarship. That's a real popular scholarship here on campus that allows all ag students, again, in animal, plant, soil, animal science, also our family consumer science students, again, nutrition, culinary, early childhood development, those majors, they can receive full scholarships, meaning they don't have to take out any loans. It pays for tuition, fees, room, and board. And then we have our True Blue Foundation. That's our foundation where they give out scholarships, various scholarships. It can be STEM majors, it could be education majors. It's just various scholarships within our foundation. We also have external scholarships. Our external scholarships can be the United Negro College Fund. It can be the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, and it can also be the Denver Smith Foundation, just to name a few. But you can actually find all those scholarships that I talked about on our website. If you go to www.subr.edu, and if you click on student, click on financial aid, you will then see a link that says internal and external scholarships. There you will find all the scholarships that we have for internal and external.
That's awesome. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, Ms. Kinchin, you as well, same question. Does your school offer any merit or academic-based scholarships? If so, what are they? And what are the qualifications?
All right, so one great thing that I want to talk about with Southeastern is that your application also serves as your application for all of our scholarships as well. So it's less work for you. So if you meet any of the requirements for our scholarships, you're going to automatically get that money whenever you apply. So one big one we have is our priority scholarship. This one is for beginning freshmen. So if you're currently a senior in high school, this one's for you. If you meet our requirements, which starts at a 23 ACT and a 3.0 GPA, and you apply by January 15th, you're locked into a higher award rate than if you apply after January 15th and you meet the exact same requirements, you would get less money. So if you're a senior in high school, we say apply for the scholarship, which means just apply to the school by January 15th. And if you meet the requirements, you'll get all of that money. We also have our dual enrollment 15 plus completion award. So a lot of our students do dual enrollment. So if you complete 15 dual enrollment credits at Southeastern, you're going to receive $1,000 towards your first year. And then one more I want to talk about is our Excel scholarship. So this one is worth $4,000. That's spread out over multiple semesters, but it's awarded to 25 high school seniors who demonstrate excellence in both academic and extracurricular activities during their high school careers. So you need a 2.5 GPA and to be nominated by a principal or a school counselor. And then, like Ms. Webb said, we also do out-of-state tuition waivers as well. And then each department actually has a list of their own scholarships as well. All that can be found on our website, along with more information about the ones that I just talked about.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. So lastly, I'm going to give each of you an opportunity. Any questions that I did not ask, something that you feel like you would like to provide a message to the individuals watching this at a later date, anything. This is an opportunity, and we'll go down the list. Same order. Ms. Webb, you'll go first.
The only thing that I can really think of right now is I know I touched and I talked about students who are meeting the core requirements, but I want to let the students know that who might not have the GPA or who might not be meeting the 19 core hours or 17. We actually have a program called SUSLA Connect program. That's for students who maybe would still like to come to Southern University, but again, it's not meeting those requirements, they will come, take classes through our Connect program, which is still housed in Baton Rouge on our Baton Rouge campus. They will take classes that they need, and then once they take all those required classes, they will then transfer in to our main campus. So it's like a community college within our main campus. And so again, it just gives a student who might not be on the core path, might be jumpstart, an opportunity to still attend Southern University, still get a chance to live on Southern University campus while taking classes. And then again, once they meet those transfer hours of 18 with a college level English and math, they will then transfer into Southern University BR, Baton Rouge.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. Is that similar to what y'all do with BRCC?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So again, BRCC, those students can, once they graduate, or if they before graduating they want to transfer in, they can. So it's just like that, but yet they're just under our sister school in Lafayette. I'm sorry, in Shreveport. They're under our sister school, Susler. So they will already be here. Their classes will already be here. They can live on campus here, take classes here. Everything will be here instead of off campus.
Okay. So just real quickly, the program you were just referring to, and also BRCC, can they still take the ROTC as well?
That'd be something for me to answer.
Okay, well, go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
They, and they would have to cross enroll in their junior year, because in order to commission, you have to have a 4-year degree. I think BRCC is a 2-year degree, and so is Shreveport. So once they get to that junior level, yeah, then they can participate into the ROTC program. Now, although the freshman and sophomore just want to take the class to be taking it, they can cross enroll like that. But as far as any benefits or anything like that, we can't offer until they're in that junior year.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. That was kind of what I was asking, if they could just take the class, but I'm glad you pointed out that they will not receive any monetary benefits, because that definitely can get kind of confusing. All right, Ms. Kenshin, same question for you. Anything you would like to share with us right now?
Yes, sir. So Southeastern is the 3rd largest school in the state, but we only have about 14,000 students, which is actually quite small. So we're going to have smaller class sizes. You're going to get more one-on-one instruction at Southeastern, and that generally results in a higher GPA because you're getting that more like one-on-one time with your professors. For parents, we were also voted the #1 safest campus in Louisiana. I know that you guys were talking about waivers and all that for books and stuff, but we do have a flat rate fee of $60 on our textbook rentals, which is one of the few colleges in the state that do that. And then one big event we have coming up that I want to talk about is our Lion Pride preview. Our next one is October 29th, which is a Saturday, but it's basically a day where potential students and families can come to campus. You get a free tour, free lunch. You can meet with housing, financial aid. You can meet all of the recruiters. And then based on your academic interests, you can actually break off and go onto a tour with that specific college department head, and then you can actually ask more one-on-one questions. You can tour the facility where you would be taking classes. So it's a really great way to get a behind-the-scenes look of what college would be like if you did come to Southeastern. And if you do come on the tour, your application fee would be waived whenever you apply.
How would if someone wants to participate in that, how would they go about signing up for that?
So you can go to our website, southeastern.edu, and just search for Lion Pride Preview, and I can also send you a link, but signing up is really easy. You just say what day you want to come, and then just mark your academic interest, and then we'll get you set up from there.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you very much for the information. And following this, just so everyone's aware, contact information, websites, all that stuff will be provided at the end. All right, next is going to be Mr. Johnson. Anything that we didn't cover?
Well, one thing I would like to say, for the students that were interested in scholarships and don't have the ACT of 19 or higher, there is program where we're also running where we can strictly go by their GPA, but their GPA has to be over a 2.5 unless they're a nursing student or a law student. Then we're asking for the GPA to be above a 3.0.
Okay.
All I have.
Okay. What's the, I don't remember hearing that, what's the qualification for a National Guard soldier or reserve soldier to just contract and not scholarship?
Have a 2.0 GPA.
2.0, okay. Outstanding. And is there an ACT requirement for that?
Only if the unit requires it, which they're not requiring right at this time. So
Awesome.
no ACT requirement.
Okay. Captain, no, I'm sorry, Sergeant Morrow.
Yes, the only thing I would like to add is we've talked a lot about the National Guard College. A lot of times we're also very open to people who are not ready to start college. So the National Guard, you could also serve 1 week in a month. Come in, you don't have to be a college student. You can work on the workforce. But what I do like about it is that our units do push education. It's the big thing. They push the officer OCS program a lot. So I do think it's a great opportunity for young kids to get involved with it, even if they're not college bound at this point. And maybe that, you know, it may spark something different. That's the only part I would like to add. Okay,
thank you. Ms. Webb, real quick, when I go back and I'm going to post the phone numbers, contact, all that stuff, and I'm going to put on there about the October 29th event at Southeastern. Do y'all have anything similar to that
Yes.
that you would like?
Yes, sir. Yes, we actually having our Jaguar Preview Day, which will be November 12th.
November 12th. Okay.
Yes, sir. And I can send you that flyer and link as well. Like Ms. Kitchen said, that's just a day where students get to see how we do it here at Southern University. We'll have the band there, the dancers there, all the academic counselors. They will also get a chance to see a football game, go tour the campus, and just get some Southern University swag as well. So again, that's November 12th.
Is there an age requirement for that? Because I would like to attend.
Oh, no age requirement.
All right, Captain Shorter.
Yeah, so the only thing we would say is kind of a closing is just honestly, if you're in the Guard and Reserves already, there's no reason if you're in university not to at least check ROTC out and see how it's going. I mean, worst thing you can find out is that you don't care for it and that you either want to do your 6-year commitment that you signed up for when you enlisted, or 4-year, whatever it was, and get out of the service, or that, you know, the officer route's not for you and you want to be an NCO instead. But you know, if you don't check it out, you'll never know. So give it a shot. And for those in high school doing JROTC, I mean, as Mr. Johnson said, there's no commitment that first year because they can't contract you to the end of freshman year anyway. So if you want to just come check it out, I mean, it's one of the easiest A's a student can get. And I know that's a dangerous thing to say with college, but at the end of the day, you show up and you participate, you're going to get an A for that course at almost every university. And, you know, they want you there. So give it a shot. What you got to lose.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that, Captain Shorter. All right, so with that all being said, we had an opportunity here from Southern University in Baton Rouge admissions, Ms. Webb. We had an opportunity to hear from Ms. Kinchin at Southeastern Louisiana University in Hammond, and then also Mr. Johnson with the recruiting operating officer for Southeastern and Southern ROTC, Sergeant Morrow with the Louisiana National Guard, and Captain Shorter with both, where he works for the Louisiana National Guard and the ROTC. And I recapped the different organizations we have here simply to introduce this next individual. The next individual is Miss Abigail Cascio Cruz, recently married. Congratulations.
Thank you.
In addition to being Miss Abigail Cascio Cruz, she is also Second Lieutenant Abigail Cascio Cruz, and basically she has taken advantage of everything that we're discussing here, and she's going to be able to go into all the details with it. But she was a student at Southeastern and also Southern University through the ROTC program partnership. She She also did the ROTC as a scholarship cadet, and she also participated in the Louisiana Army National Guard as an SMP cadet through the scholarship program, and now is currently serving as a second lieutenant with the Louisiana Army National Guard. And she's going to be able to go through all the various things, the benefits that has helped her. But I'm not going to steal all her thunder. Without further ado, Second Lieutenant Cruz, the floor is yours. Please.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to hear everyone's benefits. And like he said, the whole time everyone was talking, I just was recapping how I use these to my benefit. So going through high school, I went to Fontainebleau. And just like every other high school student, I was wondering, how was I going to pay for college? What was I going to do? Where was I going to go? And then that's when a recruiter came up to me and showed me all of these like amazing benefits that the National Guard could offer me. So getting into Southeastern wasn't a worry of mine after that. I also got awarded a lot of scholarships through my SROTC and Pale Grant, and Southeastern offered them also when I applied for them. But when I got into the ROTC program, they told me, look, we could also help get your fees paid for, and we can help you develop as a leader, as a person, maturity wise. So I was able to take that. My recruiter brought me to Southern University, and Mr. Johnson was there as well. And Ms. Walker helped me guide me through that process of what I needed to do to get here. So it's a relatively simple process, I would like to say. Sometimes it seems to be hard, but I think it's easy. They just help you, they sit you down and they say, look, we need to know when you're going to graduate. We need to know how, like, medically, physically healthy you are, what kind of moral character you are, just stuff like that, just to see what you can benefit as a person to the program, to the state, just like that, so on and so forth. But being able to get the $5,000 scholarship, the $420 a month, the E5 pay at my unit, my scholarships was getting pocketed, my tuition was paid for. It was just, everything seemed to be falling into place perfectly. So I ended up pocketing so much money, I didn't have to work as much. Some of my friends in college would tell me all the time, I have to work, or I had to miss a class because I had this to do, I had bills to pay, and I'd always tell them, there's an option for everyone. Apply for scholarships at Southeastern, join the National Guard. It's so worth it. I mean, I feel like it sells itself, and sometimes when people complain about it, I'm like, you gotta look at what's in front of you, you know. So between my unit and the ROTC program, I feel like I matured a lot. As Sergeant Gascon could probably tell you, I was very shy, did not talk much at all. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and it really brought me out my shell. I was able to network. That's how I'm here now. I'm actually the Southeastern ROTC Human Resources. It's just a big circle of life, truly. And then after commissioning, you have a bachelor's degree. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. And then they sent me to training as an engineer for the National Guard. And then I came back to learn more about, like, I guess the paperwork side of it all. But I think I hit it all, and it was a little bit all over the place, but I'm very passionate and I love it. I wish I could shake more people into realizing what's in front of them, all the benefits. And like Sergeant Gascon was saying, I'm more than happy to come talk to any classroom, any students, any high schools, to try to show them that there is an option. There's always an option, and the Louisiana National Guard and the ROTC program is always here to help. It's really all I have to say.
Let me ask you a question, because this is always a big one that we get with being part of programs like this, and I'm sure Mr. Johnson, Sergeant Morrow, and Captain Shorter can attest to this. How does this affect your college? Does being part of the National Guard or part of the ROTC program make you graduate late or miss any classroom time or anything like that?
So as stated before, you're non-deployable, and then also in the National Guard, while we do get to serve the community, while you're in this status of a cadet, you're not pulled out of college. College is your #1 priority. They want you to succeed. They want you to get that bachelor's so you can get that good civilian job, or you're struggling or anything like that. They're not going to take you away from this. So it is 100%. They want you to graduate on time. When you submit that 104R, that's the expected date, and they're going to hold you to it. They're going to push you to do great things and hit that date. So I don't feel like it hindered me anyway. In many ways, it kept me on track. It made me watch my GPA. It made me like go into additional organizations, sports, stuff like that, just so that I could be competitive, so that I could keep up with that pack of people that ROTC kind of creates and the Louisiana National Guard kind of creates.
Okay. Yep. Well, look, Second Lieutenant Cruz, Cascio, really do appreciate that. I couldn't have said it any better myself. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to log on and share your experiences. Once again, once we conclude this, I will provide emails, phone numbers, websites, these important dates for things that you guys have going on at your campuses. But before we go, if you would like to put out your email and also your phone number, how people can reach you if they want to find out more about attending Southeastern or Southern University, or about joining the National Guard, or about how to contact Mr. Johnson. If you want to provide your phone number real quick, and we'll start off with Ms. Webb if you want to provide that information.
Okay, so the best form of contact for me is my email. It's laisha_webb@subr.edu, and that's LAISHA_WEBB@subr.edu.
Outstanding. Thank you. All right, Ms. Kinchin.
All right, yeah, email would work best for me too. It's christy.kinchin@southeastern.edu. KRISTI.KINCHEN.
Outstanding. Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
My email and phone number is best for me. Email is Dalton, that's DALTON .Johnson.CIV, which is short for civilian, @Army.MIL, which is short for military. My cell phone number you can reach me at is area code 404-345-7566, or my desk number, which is 225-771-4161.
Outstanding. All right, Sergeant Morrow.
Okay, my email address is Dawn, DAWN.E like Elizabeth, .Morrow, MOREAU, .mil, MIL like short for military, @Army.mil, MIL. My telephone number is 225-301-4414. Thanks.
Outstanding. Captain Shorter or Lieutenant Cruz, do y'all want to give out the Southeastern ROTC website?
I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't have that hyperlink memorized off the top of my head, so I'm gonna have to owe you that one, Sergeant Gascon. But in order to get in touch with us to talk about the ROTC department itself, you can just email me directly at my Southeastern email. So it's Joseph, JOSEPH .Shorter, SHORTER, like shortest, @SELU.edu.
Outstanding.
Good little.
And like that's fine. What I'm gonna do is, like I said, there will be a screen at the end of this with all of your contact information as well, with important dates and everything. Once again, I thank you, each and every one of you, for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know I said 30 minutes is about what we were looking at. We're definitely going up well over 30 minutes, but I think y'all definitely provided a lot of information, a great starting point for these individuals looking for an opportunity in life. So thank you once again, and to you individuals that are watching this, and hopefully you learned something from this. We will be in the near future probably looking at some other universities as well to do this with as well. So once again, thank you, Southern. Thank you, Southeastern. It has been an honor speaking with you guys and learning from you, Mr. Johnson, along with Captain Shorter and Sergeant Morrow and Miss Cruz. So y'all have a great day. And I would say lion up, but I have Jaguars on the line too. So what? go Jags, lion up. All right. Y'all have a great day. Thank you very much.
All right, you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.